What's up, guys? It's Japong in Japan, and I'm in front of my house again. Not in Japan, but soon. Today, I want to talk about my experience when I was there 2 years ago, and I want to give you the uncensored full story of what happened, basically. So, I was working security with the other security company in April 2014. I made a small mistake and got fired, basically. I locked my keys in the car at 7-Eleven, didn't call somebody, and that ended up getting me fired. So simple as that. And at that moment, it was maybe a day or two before or a day or two later that I met somebody online on chat roulette, believe it or not. Met this guy that was just hanging out, ended up having a conversation with him, telling me about how he went to Hawaii and went to Japan and just told himself to just forget about, all the financial problems about it. Just go, you have to go. If you feel like you need to go, you should definitely just go. So I took that to like the heart, and basically got American Airlines ticket off an American Airlines credit card. So I paid $0 and was in Japan basically. And I took my last check, and that was all I had to give me, for my expenses while I was there. I was there for 2 months. So my last check was, I don't know, I had maybe like $600 to myself. And I ended up carrying me through, but it was tough. And I'll tell you why. So when I got there, I went to Tokyo for 2 weeks. I was in Okinawa for 2 weeks. Then I was in Nagoya for a month. So the toughest part financially was in Tokyo, believe it or not. Tokyo is just like New York. It's a beautiful city, hustling, bustling, people moving all around. But it's also very expensive. I thought maybe I'd want to live there someday. Nah, not at all. Not trying to live in Tokyo. So I was there 2 weeks. I was jumping around from Asakusa and Akihabara and all over the place in Tokyo, just going to capsule hotels, hostels. The first place I stayed in Tokyo was a hostel, and I actually met a cool guy there, and he ended up hanging out with me for most of the time I was there. And in meeting this person, he got the hookup to go to Yokohama, to check out a car show in a week. So for that first week in Tokyo, I was hanging out with him, going to all the hot spots. I only missed Harajuku, and I think it was Ginza. I think I didn't go to Harajuku and Ginza as the two places I missed, but I went everywhere else in the Tokyo area on that green line. I don't know if you've been there, but the subways, there's a green line. It's this big circle, and at every stop, there's one of the major spots in Tokyo: Shinjuku, Shibuya, Akihabara, all that stuff. It's all on that green line. So I did as much as that as possible. I spent maybe 3 days at a time at every little hotel, and I was using, what was it, Booking.com, or I think it was Booking.com the whole time I was there to find the hotels that I was trying to stay in. Everything was around $30, $20, $40 to stay at night, and the cheaper things, which were the real like gutter capsule hotels, were around $20 a night, and they were just like run down, one bathroom, laundry room, all this stuff that you would expect. And the capsules were actually like top and bottom, and they were all just rowed out. And there was a few different places, a few different setups, but that was not that bad of an experience. The beds were not super comfortable, but you can get your sleep in and get out and go to do your next thing the next day. And a couple of things that happened in Tokyo: ended up running into the Yakuza, ended up going to see Skytree with a good friend that was a friend of my friend that I met there, and she was pretty cool. What else? I went to this club called Casablanca a couple times. That was in Shinjuku. I want to say it was Shinjuku. I always get Shinjuku and Shibuya mixed up. But the club Casablanca, you get there, the buildings, everything's lit up. You go downstairs. A lot of the clubs, you go downstairs to the basement level, and that's where the hot stuff happens. But it's pretty cool. I had some strange situations happen to me while I was there. One of them I will wait for another video to actually talk about, because it's a long story. But I ended up losing a lot of money in that situation. So that really had me down while I was there. And it was a couple days that I was in Tokyo that I was just really kind of just like messed up about. But Ended up going to my last stop in Tokyo, which was a little town a little bit away from Tokyo, which is Takashima Daira. I've never heard of it, but that's how you say it. It's a funny sounding name. It's like a small town, and that's where the next hostel it was a share house that I was gonna stay at. Ended up staying with this group of people. They were like my family for like a good 4 or 5 days. Met this black lady named Frida. She's a photographer. We walked around, did a bunch of cool stuff. She was afraid to walk around by herself because she didn't know the language, and she wanted someone to help her, like to guide her to where she wanted to go. So I was like, all right, look, I'll guide you around. And we need to be walking around Tokyo anyway. And she decided she's gonna pay for all the food and everything that we ever do. So she paid for a lot of stuff for me. And that was my last stop. She knew I was going to Okinawa. So on my way out, she actually gave me Ichiman, which is like $100 basically. So she gave me Ichiman yen because she's loaded, I guess. She works with the military. She lives in Kuwait, and she just loves to travel and take pictures. And she just had all this energy. She was giving me all this energy, and it was a beautiful thing. I actually need to get back in touch with her. It's been too long, and she gave me $100. So I took that with me then to Okinawa, and I bought that plane ticket while I was there. I don't know, it was like $274 for the plane ticket to Okinawa, on top of my regular, my regular plane ticket, and then it was a round trip. But that flight was not too bad. It was a Jet Airlines, I think, which was pretty cool. Really nice airline. Got there, hung out with my buddy Ten. Now Ten, I've known for a long time. A lot of you guys know who Ten is, but Ten is this Vietnamese guy. We always hung out back in the days during college days, and partying and stuff like that. And he, doing what he does, ended up in Okinawa, staying there for a long time. And he was there for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. And it was on the second year, I want to say, maybe the first year, second year, I'm not sure, that I came to visit. When I got there, he had a hostel set up for me called Cam Cam, which was one of the chillest places I've ever been to. Like, I can't wait to go back to this place. I met so many cool people at Cam Cam. So many people were coming in and out, and it was nice to just see like all these cool faces. It was actually like I was living there, because I had to stay there for a good week while Ten was at work for the week, and then Ten gets off of work for a week. So I was going back and forth between this place and another place called Alaha Beach. But at this place, the hostel, the beds were all lined up, top to bottom, and the mattresses were like maybe, like, I don't know if it was even a mattress. I think I was sleeping on wood, basically. And that was $20 a night. And then there were also people there that lived there, that were staying there for $1 a night, just sleeping on top of the bunks on just this flat area that is shared with no walls, and they would just sleep up there. So that was an experience, and I met some really cool people there. And this one particular girl that I met was just amazing to me. She had like a beautiful spirit, and we took walks together, and we liked each other. And that was the one cool girl that I met and hung out with a lot, and almost kind of like, I don't know how to say it. We had a good time together. And she ended up taking me with her family to an aquarium in Okinawa. Like, she asked her dad to take me. I was like, okay. I guess she was amazed by the fact that I was speaking so good Japanese, and she wanted to show her family, I guess. I don't know, maybe she just liked me. I think she liked me. I'm pretty sure she liked me. She's probably watching this right now, Mana Chan. But yeah, she was awesome, and she ended up going home to Gifu, which is right above Nagoya, early. So I was only in Okinawa for another couple days after that, and just hanging out, living the bum life. You go over to Alaha Beach with Ten. We're staying in a nice hotel, top story, well, not top story, but like 17th floor up, right in front of the beach, like beach life. It was amazing. Going to bars, different bars here and there, left and right, and running into the same people, the same group of friends that I would always run into, Shuji, Miyajima, and Kotaki. Running into Kotaki, she was just a character. She was a joke. No, I'm just kidding. just a lot of cool people that I met there, and I can't wait to see them again. I've seen them on Facebook. We're all good friends, and can't wait to see you guys again. So that was a fun experience. Back on the plane, back to Tokyo once again, just to be there for a couple days. Ended up taking the Shinkansen, the bullet train, all the way to Nagoya. Now, in Nagoya, my nephew lives with his wife and their family. So I wasn't spending a lot of money there because I was living with them in a house. But I still had to pay for my food and stuff like that when we went out. Actually, we didn't even go out that much. I ended up buying a lot of cup noodles. Cup noodles go a long way. And it's not just cup noodles, it's bowl noodles and all these different yakisoba and all that stuff. And I saved a lot of money by eating a lot of that and also eating a lot of 7-Eleven food, which surprisingly enough was really, really, really like my favorite food in Japan was the food from 7-Eleven. Like, I'm not even joking. They had these skewers with the, you got pork, you got chicken, they're glazed or seasoned. Oh, so good. And then the rice balls too. I didn't realize the rice balls were so good. Get some real cheap, run, get some lunch. It's really good on your way to, the train station. And in Nagoya, I ended up going to Gifu back and forth, which Gifu was like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours away on the train. Not 2 hours. It was less than an hour away on the train. And I would just walk to the train station every once in a while, go to Gifu, hang out with the girl that I met in Okinawa, hang out with Mana. And it was beautiful. I hang out with her family, and then me and her family end up going to Kyoto. And Kyoto was awesome because obviously it's a beautiful city, history everywhere. We end up going to one of the biggest main attractions, like the castles in Kyoto. And that field trip was going on, so there's kids everywhere, high school, middle school, whatever. And the whole time I'm in Japan, in fact, my hair was super high. Like, it was like Kid and Play ridiculous, mad scientist high. And there's this guy on TV over there, and his name was Mendy. And he was like light-skinned black guy. He's like in this pop star group, but his hair was like mine. But even then he had like blonde in it or something, I don't know. But no one ever sees that hair other than with him. So they see me with it, they just call me Mendy everywhere. So the whole time we're walking around, I'm hearing Mendy, Mendy, like Mendy, 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 like it's actually kind of flattering, but it's not me. But it felt like I was a star. So that whole day was exciting. Got some nice matcha ice cream. That matcha ice cream ain't no joke. Trust me on that. So good. But yeah, that was fun. Spent a lot of time with this girl over there. She definitely deserves a good place in my heart for showing me so much and giving me so much. And she paid for a lot of stuff too. So it's just, I got very lucky with situations like that. And obviously spent a lot of time with my nephew and his wife, going to little cities here and there around Nagoya to go, party and drink with some friends. Met some really cool people there. There's this girl that came to the US with his girlfriend one time, and I ended up hanging out with her and her friends. And then her friend, I ended up hanging out with more than anybody else while I was over there, and actually doing fun stuff like going to bars and like drinking and all that stuff. And that was really cool. I hope I see him again. I'll probably give him a call soon and let him know I'm coming. But that was Nagoya for a whole month. I was living in my nephew's wife's sister's bedroom that she's not living with them anymore. So I was living in her bedroom with the pink bedding and all this stuff. It was, can't really complain, but it helped me save money, obviously. So I got really lucky with Tin. I got really lucky with my nephew and staying with them. It was just Tokyo that was just so expensive. But yeah, believe it or not, I actually ran into a little bit of a money problem before going back to Nagoya. Well, actually, by the time I got to Nagoya, my money was depleted. So I ended up having to ask a friend, I will leave her name out of it, but I ended up asking him to send me some money, and he came through. I appreciate it, He's a really good guy, really good guy. You guys probably know who it is, but I'll leave that. I don't want to, talk about someone else's money like that. But he ended up sending me some money to keep me afloat, and I really appreciated that. He just went to the bank and put it in my account, which was really cool. I didn't think that was going to be a thing, but I really needed it. I really didn't go to Japan with the right amount of money for 2 months. Like they say, for a month you should have at least 1,000 for transportation and food, just to be sure that you can, manage. So I didn't have that much, and I just made it work. And I got back home, and it was not the best situation because all my bills were catching up with me. I almost forgot a very important point, a very important situation that happened with me. In Okinawa, I met this guy when I was hanging out with Tin. We went to a barbecue that they were having on the beach, watched the sunset. It was awesome. This guy from China, I think, Beijing, but he spoke Japanese. He was Japanese, I don't know. He was Japanese. He was Chinese? I'm not sure actually. But he offered me a job. He said him and his wife were starting a hostel chain themselves, and they wanted me to work over there because they saw how my characteristic was, how charismatic I was, how well I spoke Japanese, and I was funny, and I guess I was entertaining. Ended up going to a meeting with them in their house in Okinawa with their family and everything, and we talked about the business plan and how we're gonna run the whole entire operation. And he basically said, you don't worry about anything. I'm gonna pay for your plane ticket here that you haven't paid. I'll pay for all the bills you gotta take care of at home, and I'll make sure you get your visa. Promised me all 3 of these things, and he just said, don't worry about it. Go home, don't get another job because you're gonna come right back to Japan and start working for me at the hotel chain. And also, he's gonna let me put on an act while I was there. So I was gonna be doing what I was trying to do anyway, which was try to, make a character and, maybe get on variety TV with this, this kind of look, And I knew it was possible. It probably still is. It's not my biggest goal right now, but that was what I was trying to do. And that had me so lifted. But there was nothing guaranteed. So when I got back home, I'm not trying to ask this guy for money, but I messaged him, and he's just like, I don't know what the situation was, but he ended up being very sick. He was going back and forth to China and Japan because his doctor's in China. And when I was asking him, he was over there. When he got back, he had to take care of things. I would ask him again, he's like, oh, I have to go back. Turns out the dude apparently had cancer or something like that. I guess it was cancer. Sent me an email one day saying, this is the last 2 weeks to live. This is the last email. Sorry, things didn't work out. While I'm at home for 2 months after coming back from Japan with no money and no job. So that news kind of, yeah. And I'm sure most of you that hung around me know that was not a good time for me in my life. I was staying with a good friend of mine. He took, him and his girl, Anthony Tia. Thank you so much for letting me stay with you for a good 2-3 months. I can't remember how long it was. They eventually had to kick me out. No, I'm just kidding. They didn't kick me out, but you got to get back on your feet at one point. So that's how that went. That was 2014, all the way up into the winter, into 2015, and that's when I was just like, look, this is not gonna slow me down. We have to try this again. This isn't the end. But here I am now, 2 years later, after just working my job, thinking about Japan, and just knowing that there's something better for me. Since going out there, my eyes were just very, very wide open to all the possibilities, all the opportunities. So now I know, exactly what I need to do, because I left Japan with a good stack of business cards and did nothing with them for some reason. I was just so down in the dumps about my money situation that I didn't bother calling anybody. Like, for all I know, that stack of cards was my whole solution right there. Somebody in there had something planned for me. And it's crazy that I would just let that go. So this time around, it's all about making connections and actually following up. And that's the thing that I'm going to try and do this time around when I go to Japan. Hopefully, we can push through this. I only have a month as far as my schedule will allow me, but hopefully if I can raise enough money, I can not work my job and stay there longer and possibly run into another possibility. I mean, another opportunity. And I'm sure that'll happen. I'm pretty positive within the first week I'll run into somebody and they'll have some cool idea for me. But nothing's set in stone, nothing's guaranteed. But I know, the way that I am, how open I am, that I'll make it happen. It's gonna happen. It would have happened if I didn't rest on my laurels. Like, I thought that I was gonna be okay with this guy, so I stopped trying. That was the whole idea. Like, that's pretty much what stopped me from hitting up all these people, you know, calling all these people on these business cards, because I knew I had something already going for me, which didn't end up working out. But, you know, I know what I need to do now, and we on our way. I know this video is pretty long, and I didn't even say everything that needed to be said, so I'll probably do another video about the stuff that happened over there, my adventures over there. But just keep in touch with me, just keep it locked to Japong in Japan. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Gia, you can see it right here, Mike Gia, or at Trap Anime, and Trap Anime is where I do all my anime music videos. You can also follow me on Snapchat at Darkness. I'd probably change that later, but it's Darkness. Darkness is my old DJ name. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, guys.